All right. Good afternoon or good evening, football fans. Big Al here on this Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, and welcome to my Week 8 NFL picks, both straight up and against the spread, and the injury report ahead of Thursday night football between the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Chargers. All that and more coming up. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. And here we go with my Week 8 NFL picks. But first, a recap of Week 7. I finished the week 13-2 straight up, 12-3 against the spread, and on over-under totals, 10-5. And so far through 7 weeks, my straight-up record is 68-39-1. ATS record is getting better, but it's still bad at 49-57-2. And on over-under totals, I have a record of 57-48-3. All right, let's dive into Thursday night football. Tonight it's the 3-3 Minnesota Vikings at the 4-3 Los Angeles Chargers. Tonight at 8:15 on Prime. Your announcers are Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, and Kaylee Hartine. All right, the Vikings are number 22 in my Week 8 power rankings, and the Chargers are at number 11. Current point spread is LA minus 3.5. Over under is 45. I am taking the Chargers in this one, 27-20. I have the game going over 45, and I'm taking the home team at minus 3.5. Moving on to Sunday. Beginning with the 4-2 Buffalo Bills coming off their bye week. They visit Charlotte to face the 4-3 Carolina Panthers, who sit over 500 for the first time since 2021. That game is Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox. Your announcers are Adam Amin, Greg Olsen, and Pam Oliver. All right, the Bills are at number 4 in my Week 8 power rankings. The Panthers have moved up to number 19. Current point spread is Buffalo minus 7.5. Over-under is 46. I have Buffalo winning straight up 27-20. I'm taking the game just over 46. I wouldn't be surprised if it went under. But I am taking the Panthers at plus 7.5. Next, the 4-2 Chicago Bears take on the 1-5 Baltimore Ravens in the return of Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson from injury. That is Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. Your announcers are Ian Eagle, J.J. Watt, and Evan Washburn. All right. The Bears are up to number 17 in my Week 8 power rankings following last Sunday's victory over the Saints. The Ravens, who were also off last week, have moved up to number 26. Current point spread is Baltimore minus 6.5. Over-under is at 48. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think the Ravens will win and cover here. I have Baltimore winning 27-19. I wrote over 48, but it's actually under 48. I have the game going under 48 points. And I'm taking the Ravens minus 6.5. Okay, up next, the 2-5 Cleveland Browns take on the 5-2 New England Patriots. Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox. Your announcers are Chris Myers, Mark Schlereth, and Christina Pink. All right, the Browns are at 23 in my Week 8 power rankings. The Patriots are all the way up at number 7. Current point spread is New England minus 7, and the over-under is 40.5. I think this Patriots offense will be tested by this Browns defense. But Drake May is going to make a lot of plays in this game that's going to keep that defense on their heels. That said, I have the Patriots winning easily, 34-17. I think the game goes over 40.5, and I'm taking New England minus 7. Up next, the 1-6 Miami Dolphins visit the 3-3 Atlanta Falcons. Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. Your announcers are Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins. All right, the Dolphins are at number 28 in my Week 8 power rankings. They actually moved up because of the Raiders' performance last week against the Chiefs. And then the Falcons are at number 16. They're coming off a Sunday night's loss against the 49ers. Current point spread is Atlanta minus 7.5. Over-under is 44.5. I think the Falcons will have a great game on both sides of the ball, given the fact that the Dolphins really don't do much good. I have the Falcons winning 24-14. I have the game going under 44.5. And I'm taking Atlanta minus 7.5. Next, it's revenge. It's a revenge game for my 5-2 Philadelphia Eagles as they host the 2-5 New York Giants. We just went to New York 2 weeks ago tonight and lost to the Giants. And now we're seeking payback in this one. Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox. I almost said CBS. The game is on Fox. The announcers are Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi. All right, the Giants are at 27 in my Week 8 power rankings. The Eagles are back in my top 10 at number 10. Correct point spread is Philadelphia minus 7.5. Over-under is 44. Now, I have the Eagles winning 30-20. I have the game going over 44. And I'm taking the Eagles minus 7.5. But I am not sure about the cover part, given the fact that the Giants' defense plays really, really well. Well outside of that 33-point meltdown in Denver last week, this defense has been playing well. As for New York's other team, the 0-7 New York Jets, they are in Cincinnati to face the 3-4 Bengals. Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. Your announcers are Spiro Diaz, Adam Archuleta, and Aditi Kinkhabwala. All right, the Jets, being the only winless team left in the NFL, sit at number 32 in my Week 8 power rankings. The Bengals are up to number 24. Following last Thursday's instant classic against the Steelers, where Joe Flacco looked really, really good. Correct point spread is Cincinnati minus 6.5. Over-under is 44.5. And let the good times roll. Why not? Bengals win 28-13. I have the game going under 44.5. And I'm taking Cincy minus 6.5. And in the last of the early games on Sunday, as the 5-2 San Francisco 49ers, led by head coach Kyle Shanahan, they traveled down to the Space City to face the 2-4 Houston Texans, led by a Shanahan disciple in D'Amico Ryans. Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox, your announcers are Kevin Kugler, Daryl Johnston, and Allison Williams. The Niners are number 6 in my Week 8 power rankings. The Texans are down to 20 following last Monday night's performance against the Seahawks. Correct point spread is Houston minus 1. Over-under is 41.5. Now, Nico Collins for the Texans. More chances than not, I don't think he'll play this week. The Niners are also dealing with injuries themselves. But they've done this before. They've played shorthanded and won, and I think that'll be the case once again. Give me the Niners 23-17. I have the game going under 41.5, and I'm taking San Francisco plus 1. Okay, moving on to the late games. Starting off with the 5-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the 1-6 New Orleans Saints in an NFC South showdown. Sunday at 4:05 on Fox. Your announcers are Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Megan O'Leary. All right, the Bucs, after Monday night's loss in Detroit, fell to number 5 in my Week 8 power rankings. The Saints are at number 29. They moved up also thanks to the ineptitude of the Las Vegas Raiders. Current point spread is Tampa Bay minus 3.5. Over-under is 46.5. I think the Bucks win this one easily, 30-14. The game goes just under 46.5, and I'm taking Tampa minus 3.5. All right. Next up is the game of the week. We have no top 10 matchups in the NFL this week, but this is the best of all of them based on my power rankings, and that's the 3-1 Dallas Cowboys at the 5-2 Denver Broncos. Sunday at 4:25 on CBS. Your announcers are Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson. All right, the Cowboys are up to number 14 in my Week 8 power rankings following their dominating performance against the Commanders. And then the Broncos, who of course scored 33 points in the fourth quarter after trailing 19-0 to defeat the New York Giants, they are at number 8. Current point spread is Denver minus 3.5. The over-under is 51. I am just not trusting this Broncos offense. If you ask me, Bo Mid at best is a mid quarterback. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott is an MVP front runner, and he'll continue to play like one this week. I have the Cowboys winning 31-21. I have the game going over 51. And I'm taking Dallas with the 3.5 points. All right. Next up, we have the first of 2 locks of the week here in week number 8. The 1-6 Tennessee Titans visiting the 6-1 Indianapolis Colts. Sunday at 4:25 on CBS. Your announcers are Andrew Catalon, Charles Davis, Jason McCourty, and AJ Ross. All right, the Titans are stuck at number 31 in my Week 8 power rankings, while the Colts are all the way at number 3. All right, this is my first lock of the week, as the current point spread is Indianapolis minus 14, and the over-under is 47. The Titans will not stand a chance against this high-powered Colts team. I have Indy winning 38-10. The game going over 47, just a little bit. And I'm taking the Colts minus 14. Now it's Sunday Night Football and Aaron Rodgers' revenge game number 2. As his Pittsburgh Steelers, coming in with a 4-2 record, host the team that drafted him, the 4-1-1 Green Bay Packers. Sunday night at 8:20 on NBC. Your announcers are Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark. All right, the Packers sit atop my Week 8 power rankings. The Steelers are down to number 15. Current point spread is Green Bay minus 3, and the over-under is at 45. Just as Aaron Rodgers beat the Jets, I think he beats the Packers here. Pittsburgh wins 28-20. I have the game going over 45, and I'm taking the Steelers at plus 3. And then on Monday Night Football, that's where you'll find my second lock of the week. The 3-4 Washington Commanders will be without Jaden Daniels for the unforeseeable future. They venture into Arrowhead to face Patrick Mahomes and the 4-3 Kansas City Chiefs, who have finally found their footing after a slow start to the season. Monday night at 8:15 on ESPN and ABC. Your announcers are Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters, and Laura Rutledge. All right, the Commanders crashed down at number 18 in my Week 8 power rankings. The Chiefs are up to 13. I figure a win here on Monday night will put the Chiefs back into my top 10. Current point spread is Kansas City minus 12.5, and the over-under is 47. Now, again, there's no Jaden Daniels for the Commanders. I'm not even sure if Terry McLaurin is going to play or not, or Deebo Samuel for that matter. So Washington is coming into this game shorthanded, And I think Mahomes and company will take advantage of that. Chiefs win 34-17. I have the game going over 47. And as my second lock of the week, I'm taking Kansas City at minus 12.5. All right, 6 teams off here in week number 8. That includes the Arizona Cardinals at 2-5 and ranked 25th in my week 8 power rankings. The Detroit Lions at 5-2 and ranked number 2. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 4-3 and ranked number 21. The Las Vegas Raiders at 2-5 and ranked 30th. The Los Angeles Rams at 5-2 and ranked number 12. And the Seattle Seahawks also at 5-2 and ranked number 9. All right, so those are my picks. Now let's get into this injury report ahead of Thursday night football, and we'll start off with the Minnesota Vikings. All right, fullback C.J. Ham is out with a hand injury. Meanwhile, linebacker Andrew Van Ginkel is out with a neck injury. Tight end Christian Darrisaw with a knee. Running back Aaron Jones with a hamstring. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy with an ankle. Tackle Brian O'Neill with a knee. And running back Xavier Scott with a wrist are all listed as questionable. But I don't think JJ's going to start this game. Anna's in the house. What's going on? I think it's going to be Carson Wentz once again as the starter for Minnesota. Other names listed include defensive end Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, I should say. Guard Donovan Jackson. And quarterback Carson Wentz, who we just talked about. They were all full participants in practice. But we are expecting Wentz to start tonight for Minnesota. On the Chargers side of things, running back Hassan Haskins is out with a hamstring. Meanwhile, offensive tackle Joe Alt, defensive tackle Jamori Caldwell, offensive tackle Austin Ducalis, linebacker Troy Dye, safety Elijah Morgan, and offensive tackle Trey Pipkins and offensive guard Jamari Saylor are all listed as questionable. Alt has an ankle. Alt and Ducalis both have ankle injuries. Pipkins and Slayer, or Salyer, I should say, both have knee injuries. Caldwell has an illness. Meanwhile, Troy Dye and Elijah Molden each have thumb injuries. Only 2 other names mentioned on the injury report for the Chargers, and those are defensive end Kyle Kennard and defensive tackle Atito Agbania. Kennard was a full participant in practice. Meanwhile, Agbania did not practice. So I'm not expecting him to play tonight. Okay, those are my Week 8 NFL picks, both straight up and against the spread. We will be back on Monday with a look at the college football rankings entering week number 10 of the college football season, as it is now crunch time, getting close here to bowl season in college football. So that will be coming on Monday. I'll release 2 videos on Tuesday, including the Week 8 NFL recap, the week that was, and then after that, we'll have the Week 10 college football television schedule. And then I'll be back here next Thursday with my Week 9 NFL picks. So join me next week for all of that. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching and enjoy the pigskin. Peace out.